Hello, and welcome to today's episode on substance abuse prevention in youth, a UK perspective. I'm Umar, a clinical psychologist, and I'm excited to share insights and strategies to help protect the next generation from the risk of substance abuse. Youth in the UK face unique challenges including peer pressure, accessibility to substance, and social stressor. Our focus today will be on prevention, education, and building resilience. Together, let's explore how families, schools, and communities can work collaboratively to create a safe and supportive environment for our youth. Educating youth on the risk of substance use and its long-term effects. One of the most effective way to prevent substance abuse is by educating young people about the risk involved. Many youths are unaware of the long term consequences of experimenting with substance, which range from physical health issues like liver damages to mental health problems such as anxiety, depression, and addiction. Understanding these risks empowers young people to make informed choices and resist peer pressure. In the UK, studies shows that 35% of young people aged to 15 to 24 have experienced with substance, often without fully understanding the risk. The stats highlights the importance of early intervention and education to prevent substance misuse before it escalates into a long-term dependency. Schools, families, and communities play a crucial role in raising awareness and equipping young people with the tools they need to make healthy decisions. According to the Office for National Statistics 2024, 15% of young people aged 11 to 15 have tried illicit drugs at least once. Alcohol remains the most commonly used substance, with 52% of 15 years old in England reporting alcohol consumption. Vaping and tobacco use are on the rise, with 9% of 11 to 15-year-old admitting to regular e-cigarette use. Why does this matter? Early exposure to substance significantly increases the risk of addiction in adulthood. Substance use disrupts brain development in young people, leading to long-term cognitive and emotional challenges. Adolescents with substance use disorders are at a higher risk of dropping out of school, engaging in criminal activities, and experiencing poor mental outcomes. Key topics to cover today are physical and mental health effects of substance use, addiction potential. Certain substances such as nicotine, alcohol, and cannabis have high addiction potential, especially when used at a young age. The developing adolescent's brain is more vulnerable to dependency, making early exposure particularly risky. Impact on brain development. The brain continues developing until the mid 20s. Substance use during the period can cause irreversible damage to cognitive functions like memory, decision making, and impulse control. Heavy alcohol use can shrink brain regions responses for emotional regulation and learning. Long term physical health risk. Regular alcohol consumption increase the risk of liver damages or liver failure. Heart diseases. Stimulants like cocaine can cause high blood pressure and heart attacks. Respiratory issues. Smoking and vaping leads to lung disease such as bronchitis, COPD, and lung cancer. Mental health effects. Anxiety and depression. Studies shows a strong link between substance use and mood disorders, psychosis and paranoia. Heavy cannabis use, particularly high THC strains, has been associated with an increased risk of psychosis and schizophrenia. Increased suicide risk. Substance use disorder is a major risk factor for suicide among young people. Legal and social consequences of substance use. So, the UK drug law. Possession of Class A drug, that is heroin, cocaine, MDMA, carries a penalty of up to 7 years in prison, an unlimited fine, or both. Possession of cannabis, Class B drug, can lead to a fine, a warning, or up to 5 years of in prison. Supplying and intent to distribute result in harsher penalties, including life imprisonment for Class A drugs. Drink and drug driving laws impose severe penalties, including heavy fines, license suspension, and imprisonment. Social and career impact. Criminal records affect future employment opportunities as many employers conduct background checks. Substance use can lead to expulsion from school or university, limiting career prospects, social stigma, and damaged relationships. Addiction can strain friendships and family connections. Financial burden. Long-term substance use can lead to financial instability as individuals struggle to maintain employment and cover healthcare costs. Prevention strategies for youth. So the number one is peer pressure resistance techniques. Role playing exercises to participate, saying no, encouraging assertiveness and confidence in social settings, surrounding oneself with positive influence who discourage substance use. Healthy coping mechanism. Sports, arts, and music programs provide alternative to substance use. Mindfulness and stress management reduce resilience on drugs and alcohol for coping. Seeking guidance from mentors, teachers, and family members can provide crucial support. Parental and community involvement. Open conversations at home about the risk of substance use, schools implementing drug education programs tailored to adolescents' needs, community support groups, and youth engagement initiatives to keep young people involved in positive activities. A youth's journey to recovery. A 17-year-old from Manchester, how experimenting with cannabis lead to academic struggles and mental health issues. With the help of youth rehab program, counseling, and family support, they overcome addiction and are now an advocate for substance abuse prevention. Success stories from UK prevention programs. Frank campaign. Government initiative providing free advice and support on drug use. Young people substance misuse services. YPSMS offers free counseling, rehab, and education program. The Amy Winehouse Foundation support at-risk youth through mentorship and music therapy programs, empowering youth with knowledge. Final takeaways. Substance use affect physical, mental health, and career opportunities and relationships. Education and awareness reduce experimentation rates among young people. Prevention programs must be accessible in schools, communities, and families. Young people should be encouraged to make informed, healthy choices. So, we all have a role to play in preventing substance abuse among young people, whether as educators, parents, or community leaders. We must ensure that youth have the right information, support, and resource to make positive choices. By prioritizing education and early intervention, we can protect future generations from the harmful effect of substance misuse. Encourage conversations at home about realities of substance use, support local prevention initiatives, and advocate for better drug education policies. The role of peer pressure and strategies to combat it. Peer pressure is a powerful social force that can influence the choices and behaviors of young people. One of the leading reason young individuals experiment with substance, engage in risky behavior, or compromise their personal values is due to peer pressure. It often comes in subtle or overt form, make it essential for young people to develop the confidence, and skill to handle these situations effectively. By equipping youth with the right knowledge and tool, we can empower them to make independent and informed decisions, resist negative influence, and foster a culture of self-respect and integrity. Today, we will explore the different aspects of peer pressure, how it manifests, and practical strategies to counteract its effect. Practical strategies for youth. Recognizing peer pressure. Peer pressure can be direct or indirect. It can come from close friends, classmates, or even social media influencers. Recognizing the signs early can help individual make informed decision rather than being swayed by others. Types of peer pressure. So the first is direct peer pressure. This occurs when someone explicitly encourages, pursues, or pressurizes an individual to engage in a particular behavior. For example, come on, just try it once everyone else has. And indirect peer pressure. This happens when an individuals feel the need to condemn based on observation. For example, seeing all friends adopting to a new trend or habit and feeling left out. Self-imposed peer pressure. Sometimes young people create internal pressure, believing that they must act a certain way to fit in, even when no one is directly pressuring them. Understanding these different forms of peer pressure helps young people become more aware and confident in their ability to resist unwanted influence. Saying no can be difficult, especially when faced with persistent pressure. Practicing assertive communication helps young people stand their ground without feeling guilty or alienated. The key elements of assertive communications: maintaining eye contact, speaking in a firm but respectful tone, using confident body language, keeping response short and clear. So here are some role play scenario for assertive communication. Scenario 1: a friend offers a cigarette at a party. So your response should be, no thanks, I don't smoke. Scenario 2: group pursues someone to skip school. Response: I've got plans today, I'm staying in class. Scenario 3: a friend pushes another to drink alcohol. Your response should be, I don't drink, but thanks for the offer. So, the alternative responses to decline peer pressure: I don't need that to have fun. I have other commitments, can't do that. I respect my boundaries and prefer to stay out of it. So, these were the examples. So, building a support network. Having a strong support network makes resisting peer pressure easier. Surrounding oneself with like minded peers who respect personal choices can make a significant difference in decision making. Ways to build a supportive social circle. Engaging in clubs, sports, interest based group, forming friendships with individuals who share similar values, seeking guidance from mentors, teachers, and trusted adults, talking openly with family members about peer pressure challenges. The importance of open communication. Encouraging young people to talk about their struggles and seek advice. Schools and communities should create safe spaces where youth can share experience without fear of judgment. So, in the UK, peer pressure is a significant factor influencing youth behavior. Many school programs now incorporate anti peer pressure training, teaching students how to recognize manipulation tactics and develop refusal skills. However, to make a lasting impact, efforts must extend beyond the classroom. Current initiatives in the UK. Schools introducing peer mentoring programs where older students guide younger ones on making positive choices. Government and non-profit organizations running awareness campaigns about the danger of peer pressure, particularly concerning substance abuse and online influence. parental involvement, initiatives that encourages open discussion at home about peer pressure and challenges, the need of community engagement. Community centers and youth groups must continue to provide platforms for young people to build confidence and learn assertive skills. Schools, parents, and community leaders should collaborate to reinforce positive behaviors through workshops, role playing activities, and real life success stories of resisting peer pressure. In conclusion, we can say peer pressure is a reality of many young people, but it does not have to dictate their choices. By recognizing its form, practicing assertiveness, and building a strong support network, youth can take control of their decisions and stand firm in their values. The role of educators, parents, and communities in reinforcing these lessons is vital. Together, we can create an environment where young people feel empowered to say no to negative influence and yes to their personal growth and well being. Remember, true friends and supportive peers will respect your decision. Making informed choices rather than following the crowd is the key to long term happiness and success. So, let's talk about building resilience in children through strong family and community support. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from challenges and adapt in the face of adversity. Is a crucial factor in preventing substance use, promoting overall well being. Young people who feel supported by their families, schools, and communities are far less likely to turn to substance or engage in risky behaviors to cope with stress or peer pressure. Developing resilience isn't about eliminating difficulties, but equipping children with skills and confidence to navigate them. A strong support system can make all the difference in fostering emotional strength, decision making abilities, and self worth. So, building resilience. How can we build resilience? Open communication. One of the most effective ways to build resilience in children is through open and honest communication. When children feel they can express their thoughts, emotions, and concerns without fear of judgment, they develop a sense of security and trust. Strategies for encouraging open communication. Regular family check ins, set aside time daily or weekly to discuss experience, challenges, and emotions. Active listening technique. Show empathy, validate feelings, and avoid immediate criticism or solutions. Encouraging emotional expression. Teach children to name their emotions and articulate how they feel in different situations. Nonverbal communication. Pay attention to body language and tone, ensuring that children feel heard and understood. Example of the conversation: I noticed you seemed upset after school today. Do you want to talk about it? That sounds like a tough situation. How do you feel about it? Another example is, it's okay to feel disappointed. Let's think about ways to handle it together. Benefits of open communication: reduces feelings of isolation, helps children to develop problem solving skills, strengthening parents children relationship, creating a foundation of trust, involvement in positive activities. Engaging in structured positive activities is an excellent way to boost self esteem, develop life skills, and reduce risk factors associated with substance use. These activities provide healthy outlets for stress, help building social connections, and instill a sense of purpose. Examples of positive activities: sports and physical activities. Team sports, martial arts, or outdoor adventures improve physical health and teach discipline and teamwork. Creative outlets, music, drama, dance, and art programs allow self expression and emotional regulation. Community service and volunteering, helping others foster empathy, responsibility, and a sense of contribution. Academic and leadership clubs, Participation in debate teams, science clubs, or student councils help develop confidence and leadership skills. How positive activities build resilience. Enhance self worth by providing achievement and milestones, and reduce time spent in unstructured, high risk environments. Build strong peer relationships with individuals who share similar values. Mentorship programs. Having a mentor can be life changing for a young person. Positive role models guide youth through challenges, encourage personal growth, and offer wisdom and support when needed the most. Benefits of mentorship provides a sense of belonging and direction, offers guidance from someone who has faced similar challenges, encourages goal setting and resilience in adversity. So, the types of mentorship programs: school based mentorship. Teachers or older students provides academic and emotional support. Community mentorship. Youth centers, churches, or local organization pair young people with mentors. Professional mentoring. Career oriented programs help young individuals explore their future paths. Informal mentorship. Trusted family members, coaches, or neighbors can serve as mentors. Example of mentorship success stories. A student struggling with confidence joins a community mentorship program and is paired with a mentor who helps them develop public speaking skills. Over time, the student gains confidence, becomes more engaged in school activities, and avoid negative peer influence. So, in the UK, community driven initiatives play a significant role in fostering resilience among young people. Many communities have recognized the importance of providing safe, structured environments where youth can thrive, learn life skills, and receive support outside the home. Current initiatives in the UK: youth centers and after school programs. These centers offer a variety of activities from sports to academic support, in ensuring young people have a safe space to develop their skills. Government and non-profit initiatives. Organizations such as National Citizen Service (NCS) provide structured programs that focus on personal development, leadership skills, and community engagement. School-based resilience programs. Many schools incorporate mental health education and peer support groups to help students build resilience. Faith-based and community groups, churches, mosques, and other religious organizations often provide mentorship and support programs. While existing programs are making a positive impact, more efforts are needed to reach at-risk youth who may not have access to these services. Strengthening the collaboration between schools, families, and community organizations can enhance the effectiveness of these initiatives. Encouraging businesses and local leaders to invest in mentorship and youth development programs can create more opportunities for young people to build resilience. So, in conclusion, building resilience in young people requires a collective effort from families, schools, and communities. By fostering open communication, encouraging involvement in positive activities, and providing mentorship opportunities, we equipped youth with the skills they need to face challenges with confidence and make healthy choices. The role of parents, educators, and community leaders in this process cannot be overstated. By working together, we can create a supportive environment where young people feel valued, empowered, and prepared to the future. When children know they have a strong support system, they are more likely to develop the resilience necessary to overcome obstacles and achieve their full potential. Let's continue to invest in their well being and future success. The role of parents and teachers in preventing early substance use. Parents and teachers play a crucial role in substance abuse prevention. As the primary influence in a child's life, they are in a unique position to shape attitude, provide guidance, and create supportive environments. that reduce the risk of early substance use. By working together, they can identify early warning signs, educate youth on the dangers of substance use, and foster resilience that empowers young people to make healthy choices. Substance use is often driven by a combination of factors, including peer pressure, stress, and curiosity. However, when young people receive consistent guidance and feel supported, they are significantly less likely to engage in risky behaviors. Let's explore how parents and teachers can actively contribute to substance abuse prevention. For parents, leading by example. Children learn by observing the behaviors of adults around them. Parents who model healthy coping mechanism and responsible behaviors set a strong example for their children. Ways parents can lead by example. Avoid using substance as a way to manage stress or emotions. Speak openly about the dangers of substance misuse and personal values regarding health. Demonstrate responsible behavior in social settings, such as drinking in moderation and never driving under the influence. Encourage healthy habits such as exercise, hobbies, and open communications. So, what is the impact of these things? Build trust and credibility when discussing substance use, encourages children to adopt healthy coping mechanisms, reinforce the message that substance use is not necessary for fun and relaxation, monitoring behavior and friend group without being overbearing. Knowing who your child interacts with and what influence they are exposed to can help prevent early substance use. However, monitoring should be done in a way that respect a child's independence and foster trust. Strategies for monitoring behavior. Keep open lines of communication without being overly intrusive. Encourage children to bring friends home and get to know their social circles. Be aware of sudden changes in behavior, academic performance, or interest. Set and enforce reasonable curfews and check in regularly. How to balance monitoring and independence. Avoid excessive questioning or interrogation. Foster open discussion rather than using a controlled approach. Express concern rather than suspicion. Encourage problem solving discussions rather than making all decision for them. So what's the impact of this? Helps parents identify early signs of potential substance misuse, strengthen the parent child relationship through mutual trust, creates a proactive factor against negative peer influence, setting clear expectations and consequences for substance use. When children understand that their parents have clear expectations and firm boundaries, they are more likely to think twice before engaging in risky behavior. The question is how to set clear expectations. Have a direct conversation about the family's stance on substance use. Discuss the real life consequences of the drug and alcohol use. For example, health risk, academic consequences, and legal issues. Explain the reasons behind the rules rather than just enforcing them. Consequences should be fair, consistent, and related to the behavior. Avoid extreme punishments that may lead to secrecy. Reinforce positive behavior by rewarding responsible decision making. So, the impact is reduce ambiguity about what is acceptable, encourages accountability and responsible decision making, helps children understand the long term consequences of their choices. Now, for the teachers, incorporating substance abuse education into the curriculum. Education is one of the strongest tools in prevention. When students understand the risk associated with substance use, they are better equipped to make informed choices. Ways to integrate substance abuse education include real life case studies and testimonials. Teach students about the science of addiction and its effect on the brain and body. Discuss media influence and how advertisement glamorize substance use, encourage critical thinking about peer pressure and decision making. So, the impact of these things will be increased awareness and knowledge about the risk of substance use, encourages students to think critically about their choices, reduce misconceptions and normalize discussions about substance abuse, identifying signs of substance misuse. Teachers are in a key position to notice changes in students' behavior that may indicate substance misuse. So, warning signs to look for: sudden decline in academic performance, withdrawal from activities and social interactions, frequent mood swings, aggressive or unusual behaviors, unexpected health issues, fatigue, or poor hygiene. How teachers can respond: approach students with concern rather than accusation, involve school counselors or support staff, communicate observations to parents while respecting students' privacy, provide students with resources and information on where to seek help, ensures early intervention before substance use escalates, helps students to feel seen and supported, encourages open discussions, partnering with parents and community organizations. Preventing substance use requires a collaborative effort. Schools, parents, and community organizations must work together to provide consistent support and resources. Ways to strengthen collaborations: host parent workshops on substance use prevention, connect students with mentorship programs and counseling services, work with local health organizations to bring experts into schools, encourage parental involvement in school initiative and discussions. So, what will be the impact of this? Creating a network of support for students, reinforce prevention messages across multiple environments, ensure students have access to the help they need. So, in the UK, schools are increasingly integrating mental health and substance abuse awareness programs into PSHE, personal, social health, and economics education. These programs equip students with knowledge, critical thinking skills, and the ability to resist peer pressure. Key UK initiatives are schools partnering with charities and organizations such as Mentor UK and the Alcohol Education Trust, government led campaigns to raise awareness about substance use among young people, community programs providing youth with safe spaces, counseling, and positive activities, challenges and future opportunities, expanding access to substance abuse education beyond the classroom, enhancing collaboration between schools, families, and law enforcement, increasing funding for mental health support within schools. So, in conclusion, preventing early substance use is a shared responsibility between parents, teachers, and communities. By fostering open communication, setting clear expectations, and providing consistent education, we can empower young people to make healthy choices. When prevention efforts are consistent across home, school, and community settings, youth are more likely to feel supported and make informed decisions that positively impact their futures. Thank you very much for joining us today for this important discussion on substance abuse prevention in youth. Today, we have highlighted the importance of education, resilience, and collaboration between families, schools, and communities in addressing this challenge. Remember, prevention starts with awareness. By working together, providing the right support, we can help our youth build brighter, healthier future. If you'd like additional resources or support, please reach out to the Awakening Rehab. Let's continue to empower the next generation to make healthy, informed choices. So the key takeaways from today's episode are as following: education and awareness are critical to preventing youth substance abuse. Peer pressure can be mitigated through strategies and strong support system. Parents, teachers, and communities play a central role in prevention efforts. Resilience building activities and positive role models help youth avoid risky behaviors.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's episode. The topic today is emerging substance use trends and community risks. I am Shalini, a clinical psychologist, and I'll be your host for today's episode. We are here to discuss a topic that affects every community: substance misuse. Emerging trends in substance misuse not only impact individuals but also ripple through families, workplaces, and neighborhoods. Our goal today is to provide you with actionable strategies to address these challenges, particularly focusing on the recent trends and their effects on the local communities, and steps for community-driven solutions. Thirdly, we'll look how collaborations can maximize our collective impact. Feel free to take notes and we'll share additional information and resources at the end of this episode as well. Let's get started. Let's talk about the recent trends in substance use and their impact in the beginning. Let's begin by looking at the substance use trends currently shaping our communities. The UK has witnessed noticeable changes in drug and alcohol consumption patterns over the last decade, with increasing concerns about synthetic drugs, alcohol misuse, prescription drugs, dependency, and the role of social media in influencing the young people. So let's talk about the trend number one. The first trend is synthetic drugs. Now, the use of synthetic cannabinoids and designer opioids has surged, particularly among the vulnerable population, such as young people and the homeless. Now, these substances are often marked as legal highs or safer alternatives to traditional drugs, but in reality they pose severe health risks, including the acute psychosis and paranoia. It also increased the risk of seizures and heart attacks. It also leads to higher likelihood to overdose due to the unpredictable potencies. Now, according to one of a report by the UK Home Office in 2023, the synthetic drugs used, particularly spice, has contributed to a 66% increase in drug-related hospitalizations over the last 5 years. Now, additionally, the fentanyl-related deaths in England and Wales doubled between 2018 and 2022, largely due to the spread of synthetic opioids within illicit drug markets. Now, what's the community impact of it? Emergency services have reported a 20% increase in call-outs related to synthetic drugs overdoses in urban areas, particularly in Manchester and London. Let's consider the trend number two. This is the alcohol misuse. The COVID-19 pandemic led to significant changes in alcohol consumption patterns, with the UK now facing two major concerns. The first concern is binge drinking among young people. A 2023 study by Public Health England found that 34% of the 18 to 24 years olds engage in binge drinking at least once a month, often influenced by the social settings and nightlife culture. The rise of pre-drinking culture, where young people consume large amounts of alcohol before going out, has increased alcohol-related hospital admissions. Now, rising alcohol dependency in older adults is the second state. The Office for National Statistics (ONC) reports a 28% increase in alcohol-related deaths among adults over 50 since 2019. Now, many older adults developed a dependence on alcohol during the lockdown period, using it to cope with isolation, anxiety, and certain financial stresses. Now, let's talk about the community impact. The NHS reports that alcohol-related hospital admissions reached 980,000 cases in 2023, marking a 15% increase compared to pre-pandemic levels. The third trend is prescription drug misuse. The misuse of prescription medications such as benzodiazepine, Valium, Xanax, and opioids like codeine or tramadol has become increasingly hidden but dangerous issues in the UK. A study by the UK Addiction Treatment Centre (UKAT) found that 1 in every 10 adults in the UK has misused prescription medication at some point, earlier by exceeding the prescribed doses or by obtaining medication illegally. Now, online sales of benzodiazepine have tripled since 2018, with young people sourcing these drugs through social media platforms. Now, according to a 2023 NHS report, the number of individuals admitted for opioid-related overdoses increased by 23% in the last 5 years, with many cases that were linked to non-medical use of prescription painkillers. Now, how does this impact the community? Many overdose cases involve a combination of prescription drugs and alcohol, leading to an increase in accidental poisoning, especially among teenagers and the young adults. Let's consider the fourth trend, which is social media influence. The glamorization of substance use on social media has significantly shaped the youth behavior, encouraging the experimentation without fully understanding the risk of that experimentation. Now, viral TikTok challenges and YouTube videos featuring the alcohol binging or vaping have normalized risky behaviors among these teenagers. A study back in 2023, a survey actually by the UK Mental Health Foundation, found that 42% of the young people with the age bracket of 14 to 18 years have been exposed to drug-related content online, with 19% of them admitting they tried a substance after seeing it on social media. Now, drug dealers have increasingly used platforms like Snapchat and Instagram to sell illicit substances, making access easier than ever. Now, schools and parents, they are reporting an increase in substance-related incidents among teenagers, with a 12% rise in school suspensions linked to drugs and alcohol misuse in the last 2 years. Now, these trends actually demonstrate the urgent needs of the proactive community-based solutions. And by implementing targeted intervention programs, increasing the education on substance risks, and improving the access to mental health services, we can create a safer environment for individuals who are at risk. Let's further explore some specific actions communities can take to combat or to confront or to fight against these issues. Several steps could be taken, or these steps could be community-focused actions. First one is, we need to address substance uses requires proactive, data-driven and community-centered approaches. By implementing strategic interventions, we can reduce the harm build the trust and empower the individuals to make healthier choices. Let us explore 4 key action steps that the communities across the UK can take to combat the substance use. Now, the first action step that needs to be taken is data collection and monitoring. Now, to address the substance use effectively, we need accurate, up-to-date data. Partnering with organizations like Public Health England and utilizing tools like National Drug Treatment Monitoring System, which is NDTMS, allows us to track the trends, identify the high-risk groups, and also to develop the targeted interventions. Several statistics have shown that according to PHE, in 2023, drug-related deaths in England and Wales reached for 4,907 in 2022, which is a 9% increase from the previous years. The ONS 2023 reported a 64% rise in fentanyl-related deaths over the past 5 years, emphasizing the urgent need for data-driven responses to synthetic opioid use. Another study by the UK Home Office found 18% of young people within the age bracket of 16 to 24 experimented with illegal drugs in the past year, highlighting the need for ongoing youth-focused surveillance. If data reveals an increase in ketamine use among young people in specific region, communities can prioritize school-based education campaigns, and along with that, they can increase the mental health support services. Now, similarly, if an area reports a spike in benzodiazepine misuse, partnerships with pharmacies and healthcare providers can help improve prescription drug monitoring. Now, the second step that we can take, or the second action step, could be community engagement. Substance use impacts every community in a different way. So, to develop effective solutions, we must listen to those most affected. Now, conducting surveys or hosting focus groups and engaging with vulnerable population, including the youth, the ethnic minorities, and economically disadvantaged groups, ensures that prevention efforts are relevant and well effective. Now, certain statistics in the study of 2023 by the UK Drug Policy Commission, it found that 76% of the people in deprived or underserved communities actually believe that there is a lack of local addiction support services in the community. NHS has also reported that young people from the disadvantaged backgrounds are 2.5 times more likely to develop substance use disorders. And this is actually due to poverty, unemployment, and lack of mental health resources. The Race Disparity Audit in 2022 found that Black and South Asian communities significantly less likely to access drug treatment programs, despite experiencing higher rates of alcohol and cannabis dependency. Among several other real-world applications, in the communities with rising youth substance use, focus groups with parents and educators can help identify the social and environmental factors driving the trend. However, in the areas where cultural stigma surrounding the addiction, outreach effect can include collaborations with the faith-based organizations to encourage help-seeking behavior. Now, partnering with the local businesses and employers to offer job training programs can also reduce the economic stressors that literally contribute to the substance use. Let's step on to the third point, and the third action step would be targeted awareness campaigns. Awareness is the first step in prevention. However, generic messaging is often ineffective. Prevention campaigns should be substance specific, culturally relevant, and tailored to the unique needs of each community and each member of the community. A study by Alcohol Change UK found that nearly 40% of young people underestimate the risks of binge drinking. thus highlighting the need for better alcohol education programs. The UK Home Office also reported that social media exposure to drug related content has increased by 32% between 2020 and 2023, influencing young people's attitudes towards substance use. Now, according to the UK government's 10-year drug strategy, peer led interventions, where individuals with lived experiences share their recovery journeys, have proven 30% more effective than traditional media campaigns in preventing the substance use. If the synthetic drugs use is rising in a particular town, the social media campaigns featuring real life stories of the overdose survivors can help deter young people from experimentation. Now, in the regions with high rates of alcohol dependency, the targeted campaigns in the local pubs or into the sporting events and the universities can actually raise the awareness about binge drinking dangers. So far, for high risk youth, peer led interventions such as former addicts sharing their recovery journeys can create relatable and impactful messaging. Moving on to the fourth action step. The fourth action step is localized preventive or prevention initiatives. Prevention or preventive efforts work best when they are tailored to the specific needs of a community. From harm reduction services to school based workshops, localized initiatives can effectively address substance use and provide at risk individuals with support they need. Let's dig into some statistics. A 2023 NHS report found that harm reduction programs such as needle exchange services and supervised consumption spaces reduced HIV transmission rates among intravenous drug users up to 40%. According to the UK Department of Education, schools that implemented early intervention workshops on drug misuse saw a 23% reduction in student substance use over a 2-year period. Now, localized addiction support services led to a 17% of decrease in relapse rates among the individuals who completed rehab programs, according to a study by the University of Manchester. The safe consumption spaces in cities like Glasgow and Bristol have successfully reduced drug-related deaths and provided access to healthcare along with the addiction support services. We need to understand that the school-based prevention programs such as the interactive workshops and mental health education have actually helped the students to develop resilience against peer pressure. So we can understand that the community-based recovery networks like the peer support groups and faith-based counseling have been proven highly effective in keeping the individuals engaged in long-term recovery. Now, we literally need to understand the benefits to the community through these steps. So, by implementing these community-focused action steps, we can first of all reduce the harm that is caused by that substance use by improving the access to prevention and treatment resources. Secondly, we can build trust between community members and public health organizations, now making individuals more likely to seek help. Thirdly, we can empower the individuals to make healthier choices, ultimately improving the overall well-being and safety. So now what do we get from this one? The fight against the substance use requires a united effort. It's never a singular or lonely effort. Through data-driven strategies, community engagement, targeted awareness campaigns, and localized prevention initiatives, we can create lasting change. Let's continue working together to build the healthier and drug-free communities. Moving on, we now have to look deeper into the strategies for the community leaders, what the leaders could do for us. Community leaders play a crucial role in tackling substance use by providing education, building the support networks, and advocating for policy change and creating the safe spaces. They can drive meaningful change and improve public health outcomes. Now let's just dig into the action steps for this one. The first action step is education and training. The community leaders are the backbone of every effective strategy. Now, proper training on the substance use, early intervention, and harm reduction will actually empower the leaders to recognize the warning signs and connect individuals with appropriate services before their situation worsens. Let's get into some statistics for this one. A study by Public Health England (PHE) found that only 38% of the community leaders felt adequately trained to support individuals struggling with the substance use. Because of that, early intervention can reduce the substance related harm by up to 50% according to a 2022 report by the UK Advisory Council on the Misuse of Drugs, which is ACMD. The National Center for Addiction found that individuals who receive early support are 35% more likely to complete rehabilitation programs, emphasizing the importance of frontline education. However, there are some local councils that can provide specialized training for faith leaders or for teachers and for the youth workers on how to recognize and respond to the substance use. Several workshops for employers can help them support employees struggling with addiction, reducing the absenteeism and workplace related incidents.